Sorry.
And after round 2, heat 7, epic race, and we've got a potentially even more epic one in heat race 8. Readings, runners and riders in this one, a bit of an all-star entry on this one. Johan Medart, the Belgian champion, won at the end of last year. Lewis Manley, Tim Dawson Medeiros, the Brazilian driver. Mateus Matisse, Joel Agut, Sam Slater, Jamie Henderson, who was commentating earlier on up here, Giovanni Cialeri, who we saw win earlier on as well, and Mehdi El Gisa, one of the blue racing drivers out of Belgium. He's featuring in this well. So this is going to be a very, very tough one indeed, and a difficult winner to predict, but it's on paper maybe you would start with Johan Medart, albeit with a bit of a nod towards other Dutch as possibly Lewis Manley, and certainly you couldn't rule out Sam Slater, Giovanni Bacciolari. So they're coming around. It looks like it's Sam Slater who's crossing the line now, so he's going to start his qualifying lap. So Sam Slater starts, and they're all going through. There's Johan Medart, he started his. And crossing the line and out there. There goes Adriano Medeiros, the Brazilian driver. Crossing the line there, they complete those laps. And so, currently fastest, Mateus Matisse. He's still fastest. Joel Agut there is in third. Lewis Manley goes second. Bacciolari is second. He holds on to the lead. Matisse still first. Sam Slater fourth. It's looking good for Mateus Matisse. Dawson. Johan Medart is second. I was expecting second. Mateus Matisse seems to be hanging on. Jamie Henderson coming through, and there's Adriano Medeiros. He is in 9th place out of. So Mateus Matisse is in the provisional, well, he's in the actual pole position for the single file restart as always. And it's going to be Mateus Matisse who leads them round at the, and he's qualified in front of the current Belgian champion Johan Medart. Giovanni Bacciolari, who we saw win earlier on, he of course in 3rd place. Lewis Manley, one of the track champions here, multiple champion Formula Fast and a multiple race winner, finalist BRKC, has been pushed down to 4th. One of probably Britain's most international driver at the moment, Sam Slater, he's in 5th place. Jamie Henderson in 6th, ahead of Mel Gisa and Joel Agut and Adriano Medeiros and Tim Dawson in 10th. So we're getting ready for the start now. The marshal's just checking everything's right, just giving him the go-ahead, and it's Mateus Matisse, the Belgian, who is going to be leading them around. Sorry, Matisse is actually Polish. Matisse, the Polish driver, leads them round from the Belgian, Johan Medart. Good start. Matisse leads the way. Johan Medart tries to have a little look on the way. Medart, I think, is going to want to get ahead of Matisse as fast as he can. I don't think we'll see Matisse as particularly somebody who's going to pull him clear of everyone else and make the move himself. Because in 3rd place it is Giovanni Bacciolari. Giovanni Bacciolari, a very, very strong contender, and he has indeed been a multiple champion, world champion in the past, and junior champion of a variety of countries, Bacciolari, including Belgium. So Bacciolari there is on the tail. 2nd place Medart. As we see on screen, the tail enders go through across the finish line, yet another lap. So there they are, and that's the tail of the field there. That's Tim Dawson behind Adriano Medeiros. There is Mateus Matisse around the unit layout here. Onto the back straight. Matisse still leads. There's Johan Medart. Johan Medart not really getting racy about it, but getting prepared to. Bacciolari there is 3rd with the Italian-style helmet. So they come around that turn. It's still Dawson at the tail there with Medeiros just running in front of it as they come in to complete another lap.
It does look like Medart, the one most likely to move forward out of that pack. It certainly looks like he's got that bumper-to-bumper pace in the bag. It's just a little look over his shoulder down back straight to see if he's under threat, but he's not going defensive. He's definitely pushing.
I think you're right there, Span. He's going to be aware that Bacciolari is somebody to worry about, but Bacciolari is not really in contact with him as such. However, the question is, will Medart go for the pass or the pit?
Oh, it's got to be the pass. I think it's going to be the pass coming. So long as he's touching distance of the leader like that, I don't think he's got a reason to jump out of the way just yet.
No, I think Medard probably is going to, if anything, need to be aware of what other people are doing. If somebody else from the, who's a threat at the front, maybe Lewis Manley or somebody like that, starts the ball rolling of pit stops, I think we'll see quite a few people coming in. They just can't take the risk of a fast driver being let loose on their own if they feel that Matisse holding the absolute pace they would like him to.
But at the moment, it looks like he is holding a decent pace. I don't know whether they have an understanding between those two drivers, but I don't know. It doesn't look like he's being massively held up, but I feel like Medard's got the pace. He's hunting.
Yeah, I think Medard, he is hunting. He's kind of doing a bit of a biding time, but hunting at the same time. He's looking pretty racy to jump on anything, but he is also not rushing it, is he, Spanners?
No, but in brief, if you like, yeah. But it does depend on what the third place man does as well.
Yeah, so there we are, and Medard with Baccelleri, they're trying to break away from Lewis Manley, and there's Sam Slater through across the line with Henderson and Mediel Gisa, with Arguls, Medeiros and Dawson, they're 9th and 10th places. The pace is hot in this one, and the lap spread is less than a second between all these competitors. There is Matisse away from Medard. Medard, a little look over his shoulder. Baccelleri there.
Yeah, Baccelleri is kind of getting closer, but he does look like maybe the consistency to be right to tail the whole lap might let him down. I don't think he's going to be in that position on the back straight to be a threat. So far, Medard's had that his own way.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Pits. Early pitter. Medeiros. Adriano Medeiros. He's come into the pits, and it's a little bit stuttery, but he's got away safely. That's the most important thing. And now he's running on his own.
Adriano Gringo, as he's to his friends here in the UK, he's very new to the race. He's very new to indoor karting, actually. Does a lot of outdoor racing with cars, very successful, full-time instructor, including a lot of private work with individual racers who he then in turn races with. So he has a lot of experience, but it's all in a different type of motorsport. It's all in cars, but here comes Medard down the inside, and Medard in the lead. Now Baccelleri is not going to want to waste too much time here. If he sees Medard, the pressure will increase on Baccelleri to actually pass Matisse. I think we're going to see a true measure of Matisse's pace now.
Yeah, and of course you've got Lewis Manley as well, who has closed that gap to Larry, so that hasn't increased. He's not lost touch, so we need to see what Manley does when he gets that gap shut.
Yeah, and it does seem that Matisse's pace is good. He is staying with Johan Medard. Johan Medard has taken the lead, but he's not exactly pulling away. And then they come around these following hairpins, and Johan Medard, that's where he passed him. So he's now been up, but he's not really, apart from being actually in front, he's no better off. It's not like he's, part lengths up the road. No. So Johan Medard has taken the lead. He hasn't really shown anything in any extra speed, so Matisse's pace is relevant.
Did you see Medard's line into that final hairpin corner?
Yeah, it was kind of the most covering line you could imagine.
Yeah, so that changes, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's obviously feeling he does have to defend again early into that hairpin there. The new race leader, the reigning Belgian champion, won it at the end of last year against driver Mateusz Matisse. Matisse, the early leader, relinquished the lead, and there's Baccelleri, maybe trying to attack, but maybe also trying to defend, because Lewis Manley has caught up with all of them. What was a gap is never a gap, and it's a four-way fight for the lead, Spanners.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and it's interesting to see if Medard is going active as we are supposing. Then what can Sam Slater do from as well?
Yeah, Sam Slater's got a bit of a gap to make up. He's also coming under pressure, though, from Jamie Henderson, who, talking on the commentary, those who've been following the championship all day long, you've been a lot from Jamie Henderson, and it's Jamie Henderson who's challenging the most international Brit of them, Sam Slater. And there's Lewis Manley, who is the track champion here, multiple champion, and he has caught this group. Now, if anyone was going to make an early pit stop, you'd think it might be Lewis Manley, because he's caught this group, but surely he can't actually race his way to the front in one go without a lot of time.
I was trying to have a look at what is 10 seconds behind Manley at the moment.
A big gap.
As Alex Van Gien tries to read. I didn't want to risk talking to you early, Alex. You looked a bit fumey. You looked like you were melting your face.
I'm all right. Listen, I screwed up my quali and I made a massive error in the race. It happens, I'll get over it. I'm glad I got another race tonight, and I'll do well in the next one. You move on.
You looked good. You looked good. You looked fighty. Right, I'll tell you what, I'm gutted, James, that I can't see the back half of the track because this battle's so good.
Well, don't you worry, I'll talk it through. We've got Johan Medart still in the lead. There's absolutely no change in position. Equally, there's no change in distance either. It's from Matisse, from Baccelleri, and there is Lewis Manley there, 4th place. Now, Lewis Manley has caught this group. The big question is, will Lewis for that early pit stop, or does he feel the pace is right? There's a little bit, well, a bit of a gap opening up. A kart or two. Baccelleri, he was closer earlier on, but it might just be the consider effect. A little bit of over here there. There's Sam Slater, and behind him was Jamie Henderson, who we were hearing on the commentary earlier on. So looking good for the co-commentator. When you think about the distance between 1st to 6th, which is Jamie Henderson, that's probably the closest we've seen this far in this yet today.
Manley has lost a little bit of distance to those three, hasn't he? It'd be a case of Medart now being a little more confident, that there's not a lunge coming, a little less defensively.
Well, Lewis Manley is actually a bit slower. He's dropped off on a 10th or 2 on the last couple of laps. I think that's what's making the difference, because in fact, they've all gone a little bit slow somewhere. But Giovanni Baccelleri, for what it's worth, is actually currently the fastest pure lap time. But I don't think Johan Medart's getting away with this. I was expecting him to get past middle away, but he hasn't shown he's got any extra pace. I mean, they were bunching up behind the leader, got overtaken, but that didn't improve it for anybody. It's still same position. Manley in the pits.
Here is Lewis Manley. I spoke to him yesterday. I said this would be such a strong field to get into the top 10. I want to win it. So he's determined. He's taking the risk, getting out in front of Dawson Will, and he has done. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Mistaken identity. That was Aguilera.
Yeah, Joel Argul is there.
Argul is, I said that.
Yeah, Argul. I think he's actually Argul. It's very much foreigner. He's Spanish, so it may well be Argul, but I'm sure I saw him yesterday and there was no Les on it. It was just Argul. Now, he, of course, is a Team Sport Championship finalist, and he's been a regional champion in 2019, so he's not so hit.
Baccelleri is in the pits, and will he get ahead of Lewis Manley? It does not. Was that just a magnificent outlap from Manley, or did Baccelleri make him comfortable? And now Baccelleri finds himself behind the Spaniard as well.
Yes, it was very costly there for Giovanni Baccelleri, because he's lost a position to Argul as well, and Lewis Manley. So there is Medart in the lead, and there is Mateusz Matisse, but it's Sam Slater now in 3rd place. Now, can Sam Slater do something to close that gap? There he is in predominantly green, and behind him is Jamie Henderson, all in the pits.
They've got Geiss. Is that how you'd say? Geiss has come in from the pits there. Very. It's a good stop. Why is he up to a foul pit stop? We'll keep in touch with that, and as well, we have the Spaniard. I'm just going to Spaniard. He's coming from.
Yeah, he is Spanish.
He's Spanish. He's going. But a crucial point now for Medart and for Matisse, because if they don't work together, they're in real danger. Manley. So one of them's either got a pit now while they've got the gap, or they get each other the win and they don't realise it.
Yes, it's going to be very easy for them to overplay this. They've got to remember the signal earlier on from Matthias Gruten, and we also saw it, I think, with Logan Sune, didn't we?
It was
all in the pits.
Yeah, it was a penalty pit stop earlier, so it was race. He has had to come in again, and that is in these heats. If you have to do that, it's almost heat over for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Mehdi El Gisa is very highly rated, part of the Belgian Blue Star team. He's in their team 2, Mehdi El Gisa, but he's had a bit of a struggling time this weekend. I mean, literally every he's made, we've seen him either beating the wheel or shaking his head. Obviously, confirmation of a drive-through penalty. I'm sure that's to do with the one that he usually had.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's actually served that penalty now. Well, hopefully. We don't want a penalty on a penalty. We've done that before, but we don't want it now.
His main problem, as we have a pit in that battle, so it is that has decided to blink. I'm looking at Lewis Manley on the hairpin. This is going to be pretty, I think he is under threat from Manley. He's going to get out just about ahead in front, enough of the kart to stick behind him. That is closer than he would have wanted.
Yeah, the point of Manley's pit stop earlier on was to pass the likes of Matisse in front. It's not worked for Manley. It's also not worked for Baccelleri, because he has lost a lot of ground. He was all over the back of Mateusz Matisse, and now he finds himself even behind Lewis Manley. So,
here we go.
And in comes the leader.
Med responded immediately, And he's done very well to keep his composure there as with things in the pit lane. Let's see, he's going to get ahead, and it's going to be really close with Matisse. Not have done enough, you know. He might not have done enough. Is he saved
Matisse
by
is
that?
in the lead, but Medart's got it back. He's turning Matisse. Manley's around the outside of Matisse. Can he make it work? No, he can't. It's a tuck in behind, but this is very close at the front. It's positions as before, except for Manley in front of Bachelard. So Medart resumes the lead only just for a moment there. Matthias Matisse took the lead, but he was on the unfavourable side of the track in terms of which way the next corner went, and that's the only reason Johan Medart actually got the lead back, because he literally was half out in the lead. And now they cross the line again, Spanners, but you have Medart coming past you in the lead there. It was very, very nearly Matisse.
Well, it was in the pit lane, and a lesser driver might have been a little bit phased there. He kept his calm composure, and in the end, it's only Manley that's profited out of that round pit stops.
Yes, it is. He's moved up a place from 4th to 3rd, but it has to be said, he's now coming closer to the front of that group. He's in 4th place still, but a gap had seemed to open up. Now he's right back on the tail of Lewis Manley and making a race of it from 4th place. But Dart continues to lead. He's under enormous pressure, but if anybody can soak it up, it is Johan Medart. He's still winning some of these national championships, having been a podium visitor many. Oh, and look at this, Matisse for the lead. Matisse takes him. Matthias Matisse, a Polish driver, has moved into the lead ahead of Johan Medart, the reigning champion. And Matisse has gone into the front, but Johan Medart's trying to come back at him.
I tell you, can't read from where you are, James, but they've gone insane. Cheer.
I think half of Poland responded to that.
That's going to be a blow to Johan after all that work to find himself behind. The good news for him, though, is Manley is under pressure, so they're kind of splitting into their pairs to fight.
That's helpful for Johan Medart. Now, the interesting, we've got Sater showing as the first place, because of course he is the only one, well, not the only one, but he's one of 2 or 3 who've yet to pit. But there is the race for what is going to transpire to the lead, I'm sure. Matisse, now this is interesting for Johan Medart, because if he's the BRKC champion, he's going to have to beat people who, with a ball in the world, he might rate higher than Matthias Matisse. Matthias Matisse, excellent driver, been around the national scene for quite some time as the Polish Matisse, and he is widely respected, really is. He's not an average driver at all, he's very good. But from Johan's point of view, if he's going to win this title, he's going to be expecting to beat the likes of Michael Schott-Booten, and who he would naturally slightly rate higher than Matisse. So the fact that he's losing here is surely going to rankle with him, and he's losing points. Well, 1 point.
So you're an actual racer, James. I'm a pundit at best. But is there an element where Medart might have concentrated on track position instead of trying to away and stretch that group out?
I think Johan Medart was. I just think he couldn't. I think they're all running the same pace. Oh, you've got a pit visitor.
Yeah, that's Tim. He hadn't pitted, and there was that group behind him, including Geis, who was struggling, and there was quite a few bumps and barges. But Dawson has made himself. He's uncorked his own bottle.
Exactly, and unfortunately, there wasn't much fizz there, because he's dropped down to 10th place, behind Mediel Gisa and Adrian Medeiros. So they are the beneficiaries of it stop for Tim Dawson. But Tim Dawson continues round in 10th place, and we'll see how it is to Medeiros. He's been shown as a lap down, which all it means is he's behind Sams, who's yet to pit himself. Yeah, so the real question for Tim Dawson is how close to Medeiros is he? Because Medeiros is practically right in front of Sam's lane as we speak. Now, going back to Matisse, in fact, Sam Slater, if I saw for a moment there, it looked as if Sam Slater would actually be in contention with that lead group. I can't quite believe it. He's obviously uncaught. Yes, if you look. Wow. Because Matisse has been in the pits, but Slater is 10 seconds up ahead. So if Slater pits now, he actually come out alongside Matthias Matisse. So it looks like Sam Slater's been a lot of consistent laps there at good pace, and that has actually hauled him into contention. Now, I'm not sure that those leaders are going to realise this. When we look at the times those viewers at home are looking, you can see Sam Slater is listed as first, but look at Matisse, who is the nominal first place, having made a pit stop. He's only 9.9 seconds ahead. If Slater comes out, he'll be right alongside Matisse for the lead.
The thing is, Matisse is taking defensive lines at the moment. Slater.
Well, that's probably a lot of it.
Here he comes.
Jamie Henderson's second place.
James, we do have Slater into the pits now, so we're going to get those questions answered very, very quick. And that's as good a pit stop as you could hope for. He's done all the hard work. Where's it?
He's done it, and Medart's gone through as well. So Sam Slater keeps the lead, actually made it work.
Wow.
Unbelievably. And Medart has passed Matisse. So in the confusion there, Matisse was trying to make the outside pass on Slater. Obviously he had to, because Slater was slow. And in all of that, Johan Medart, well, he's kind of gained and lost at the same time.
Yes.
He does, but he's ahead of Matisse. Now he's got a new problem, and that problem is Britain's most prolific international driver, which is Sam Slater.
I hate to interrupt, but Henderson could make a big mess of this battle as well. Perhaps, oh, he's got
hands up to third. Jamie Henderson comes out third. Oh my goodness, this result has been turned on its head. Where is Lewis Manley gone? Where is Giovanni Baccelleri gone? They've gone way down the order. And look at Sam Slater and look at Jamie Henderson. They're right up there where they were never before. They are the big beneficiaries out of this. That has worked a treat. A late pit stop for both. We've not seen that work like this today.
Well, you have to feel for Matisse, because as far as he was concerned, he was defending fiercely for the lead he had just taken on track, and he had taken that and fought for it. And all of this, Henderson and Slater ruined the party from the pit lane, and I don't know if he expected that.
Absolutely, and you'd have to say, Spanners, that I'm tempted to think that Johan Medart, Matisse, Lewis Manley, Baccelleri, they were so concerned about themselves. Yes. I don't think they saw Slater or Henderson coming. They certainly didn't see Henderson. They might have considered Slater, but I bet they didn't factor in Henderson in all this, and Henderson is third. And he's battling for a race win with Sam Slater and Johan Medart. This is really something for him.
Henderson's had just dark, sneaky plays. At no point has he been on the tail of Slater. But I wonder if, there's an air of deliberateness about that. Let Slater get on with it, because he was really good.
Yeah, he's probably been out to see Slater, and that's been the thing. Although he's not been right on him, he's not lost on him. Slater's not been pulling away. He's just happened to be a certain distance ahead. And the sheer pulling along, and a great pit stop there. I mean, this is amazing from Jamie Henderson. Commentating earlier, those who've been listening to the whole championship, you've been hearing Jamie Henderson. Now you've seen him. We've not seen a result like this from him before, and there's less than a minute to go, so surely only remaining in it. Sam Slater still would lead. Johan Medart, there's Henderson, there's Matisse, and there's Manley, and there's Giovanni Baccelleri, and they must be the most surprised of everybody.
Yes.
However, Spanners, got be the result at the end. I think there's a position change still in this, even though there's only half a minute to go.
Yeah, there might be. You've got to feel for Manley, because he's pushing for the lead now, and he's been forced out of that lead battle, having to defend really hard. There was contact on the last lap, so there's definitely a fight for that position. I don't know, I think Slater, he looks pretty comfortable. Not comfortable, but I think he can.
He's starting the last lap, Spanners. This is going to be the last lap. We've got Slater, Medart, Henderson, Manley, Baccelleri, Algisa, Arguelles, Medeiros and Dawson. That's the position, but it could change. We've still got Sam Slater. Could Sam Slater come through with an epic win? He's definitely mugged him, and especially so has Henderson in third. Really, Henderson, if he can hang on to third, he can't overdo it now. But look at this. This is one last shot from Medart. He's going to take it. He can't take it. Sam Slater's going to come through. He's got the checkered flag. It's Sam Slater from Johan Medart. Incredible, Jamie Henderson in third. You've got to speak to Hurley's man. And Matisse, as you said, he was thinking about winning, and now he's been lucky to get fourth. And Lewis Manley is in fifth. He's going to feel like a champion. Baccelleri will not have expected sixth place at all. Mehdi Algisa has come through to a respectable seventh, although he is having a bit of a tough championship. Highly rated Belgian there. Joel Arguelles, Spanish, he's in eighth place. Adriano Medeiros from Brazil, he's used to running a lot, but of course indoor karting is new to him, so it's a great result really for him to be running last place in this company. Tim Dawson brings out the tail there. He's the only one to go a lap down. And as you've got a raft of people you can talk to here.
Yeah,
got to get
Henderson's 19, isn't he? So we'll make sure we get a word with him. Jamie.
Super. Down to you now in the pit, Spanners.
Yeah, so a great one. I think key there to poor Mattis was he hung on the outside of Slater as Slater came out, still thinking. I think, if, like you said, if it had been the snail section, he could have used that momentum to try and get around the outside. And that mindset was still there, and he was trying to get around the outside, which of course just let Medart close in and go right behind Slater to profit. So you have to feel for Matisse there, because then he ended up losing out to Henderson as well. But it was an absolutely blinding run from the guys that were running most of the race in fifth and sixth. So that's Slater and Henderson, and they just came almost out of nowhere as far as the leaders were concerned. And it'll be very interesting to get a chat with both of them, whether or not they were expecting that, because they could see the delta on their dash. I guess Slater could see the delta to Lewis Manley, and he was looking in that window and going, I'm actually within the pit window. I'm within the pit window. Seeing those guys scrapping at the front, as good as it was, just taking chunks and chunks of lap time out of each other. So
absolutely, and it's a definite case of Slater and Henderson just mugged that lot in front. Those top four were all so busy concerned with each other, they didn't see him coming, and I don't care what they say, I don't believe they saw them at all.
I was hoping for Sam. Jamie. Yeah, come and have a chat, Jamie. Come and have a chat. Right, okay, so Jamie Henderson there ended up in third place. It looked for a long time like you were running in sixth place behind Sam Slater. Firstly, were you expecting to pop out in that lead group?
I knew we'd be there or thereabouts, because I suspected after they pitted I was hoping there'd be a bit of battling, and you get like little signs from people on the wall going like that, suggesting that there was a chance.
There was lots of defensive driving going on at the front.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the last few laps, it was a weird one for me because I would have happily taken third, but because Sam was going so defensive, you're kind of tempted to throw him down the inside, but no, I'll happily take third. And
when you were following Sam early on, when you were in fifth and sixth place, were you managing that gap, or could you just not close it?
Yeah, no, I was very happy in the gap. I didn't want to go too close because then Sam might start driving defensively, because he might think I was going to have a go or never was going to. But I knew that we'd pick up and we'd have good pace, so I tried to leave a gap so he would keep pulling me along.
Could you send Johan over as well? Good race, well done, Jamie. Good commentary earlier as well. Johan, come and have a look. A really fascinating race, Johan, because you were fighting for the lead with Mattis in the end, and then those guys just popped out of nowhere. How dare they?
Yeah, it was a really difficult race. I saw Sam Slater on the track, and I was thinking, okay, I need to block, but also to be fast, so it was really difficult, and yeah, good race. But
were you able to get lap time out when you were blocking from Matisse, or you really having to think defensive?
No, I was losing around 2-3 tenths per lap, so it was a bit too much. And Sam, yeah, take the advantage. So.
Well done taking that move down the inside when Sam came out.
Do we have the...
Sam, come and have a look. We've got to get a word with Sam Slater as well. I tell you what, you were innocuously going around in fifth place, minding your own business. Did you know you were going to come out there?
Nope.
No, not a clue. No signals from the pits?
It took me 5 minutes to actually get used to the format. I think once I realised that I had the pace, I was doing 32.8s consistently. I could see that my name was purple, and I could see that I was the fastest on track, and I was thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on against, the likes of Johan Madar, Manley, and the others. There's too many to name. But
so you didn't bother with the maths, you just thought there's something happening here. When you started coming out of the pits, did you realise what was happening?
I could see the time. I could see all the guys cheering me on, and they were telling me to keep going, keep pushing. I could see on my little dashboard on the karts that Formula Fast have introduced that I've got the fastest lap, and I was so consistently hitting the 32.8s. I knew I could do it. And I can't believe I got first. I thought I'd get third maybe, but...
When you came out into turn one, were you bracing for the impact of Medard and Matisse?
Exactly that. I thought I was dead.
Fantastic. And as a bonus then, somewhat unexpected for you, shiny medal. Well done, Sam Slater. Good race. Have a good tournament.